I thought I'd make a video about using gospel reharmonization techniques for jazz standards. Jazz reharmonization is, as far as I know, concerns how you can substitute one chord with another. Most obvious example is you can take a C chord and you can substitute with its relative minor. You can do 2-5-1s, tritone substitutions, etc. all of these are applicable to gospel as well, but as far as I found out, the gospel community thinks in a slightly different way, because everything starts out of the melody note and works downwards, and they have lots of nice voicings that ends on any of the 12 tones of the chromatic scale, and which they will throw in, and the basic rule is that anything that sounds good is good. To take one example, what you can do using this technique, I thought we'd take the song Nightingale Sang in Botany Square in D flat. Something along those lines is what you normally do with it. So if we were to apply gospel reharmonization techniques, the way you think is you look at the melody, okay, the first two notes. In this case we'll be nice and we will actually play the one chord. Okay. Next note is an F. That's the third of the one chord. And the F is played and we land on the D flat. So what can we do with it? What's in this case, I also want actually to end up on the D flat chord, the B flat minor 7 chord here. So coming from the one chord, in this case F, it's the 11th of a C minor chord, and since I want to end up on the B minor chord, I could either go to the F dominant chord, could do a tritone substitution, the F dominant with a B dominant chord, and I would end up with something like this. And then we carry on downwards. The D flat could be regarded as the third of an A chord. What I used here was you find little favorite things that work this movement, which is it's an E sharp 9 chord. So I start with the E sharp 9 to a D flat dominant chord. From the beginning, we have here's the G flat major 7 chord. Next note is the C. What can I do with the C? I think this is what the gospel cats are always thinking. What can I do with this note? Staying within bounds, but definitely staying within the bounds of the melody. What is happening harmonic wise, that can be basically anything that ends on a C, that sounds nice, and that you can resolve either in the next note or the next 3 notes, depending on what happens. So now we want a C chord. And we are going to end up again on the B flat minor chord. So I want to move from an G flat major to a B flat minor. So in this case, to make it easy on the foot, I'll go upwards with the bass. Here comes the C. What can I use the C with? It could be the third of an A flat, but that's on the dull side. It doesn't create much tension. So go down half a step, you find G. So then we can have a G11. Works, but it's a little too tense for my taste, so I'll make it a minor, because then I stay more closely related to the B flat, because this chord, which is a G minor 11, also works with the D flat bass. And then we have the C repeats itself, so let's carry on and go upwards. And I will play this is an A tritone, A in the bass, make it into a 13, sharp 9, and then we're home on the D flat. So that section would be works, but I want to do something more with the D flat note I have, so I'll make it into a C sharp, and I'll go to a it's a B6/9 chord, and then let's land back in the melody, 3rd in the bass, 2-5-1, that's B chord, B13, and then go to the minor. Here's a favorite dominant chord of mine. It's an 11 flat 9. So let's go over it again. We start the melody off. And then we move downwards. C11, B13 flat 5. Move down to the A13. Then we go to the E sharp 9, which is moved chromatically down to the A flat quite quickly. Third in the bass. C minor, A13 sharp 9. You can make that into a B flat 11 if you like, and change the color underneath the C sharp or D flat. If you want to sound a bit gospel, before the dominant A flat chord, you can throw in a G flat minor chord with the minor 3rd in the bass, D flat over A flat, I wonder if that works. Could work. the basis of this whole thinking is that you know where you are, you know where you're going. How you get there is a different thing, and depending, you just look at the note and you think, what can I do with this note? So a C sharp, it can of course be the third of an A chord. It can be the minor 9 in a C chord. It can be the sharp 11 in a G chord. It can be the either minor of a B flat chord or the flat sharp 9. It could be the sixth of an E chord, the seventh, etc. And one way to practice this is hold one note and see what you can change underneath it. So play a C, what can you do with it? And the quicker you get at it, the faster you can work out new harmonizations. And doing it this way, I would say, if you want to do it on the fly, it's almost mandatory that you can play the bass on yourself. Otherwise, you have to figure it out and write it to the bass player, because some of the things that you come up with will be pretty strange at first, but as long as you have a nice voicing, you can basically get away with anything. Thank you very much.